So I wanted to talk about Katelyn Nicole Davis again. I can't stop thinking about her from the second I wake up. I can't stop thinking about her. And there are actually trailers right behind my house over there that also make me think of her, but that's not what makes me think of her. What makes me think of her is her and her voice and everything else that she left for us to see of her. And I said in my other video that I feel like her stepdad told her to hang herself again, because he had already told her that previous times. But like, the more I think about it, if you look on Tammy's Facebook page and you look years back, she was obsessed with this guy. I mean, he paid all the bills for her, and so she acted like he was just like a god to her, and like she would constantly post about him daily. And then you look in November when I don't know if it was like an official divorce or what, but when they weren't together anymore, and it was because of what Katelyn told her and how she was fed up and wanted him out. And if you look at that time frame when he had to leave because she made him leave, I think it was really CPS that got involved, which is why he left. But Katelyn said that, you know, finally he's gone because my mom made him leave, and that she had to see him again on the holidays, which it sounds like he just wanted to come by and bring presents. And I feel like what happened was because if you look at the time frame, I find it coincidental. She gets a phone, he's gone for the first time in years, he's out of their life. I think he was blaming Katelyn. I've been in that position. My older sister's husband was the same way toward me when I was Katelyn's age, and I hate, like, I keep like making comparisons to myself with Katelyn, and I don't, like, if I was in your position, that would kind of annoy me, but like there is so many like similarities that I share with her, and I think that's why this like resonates with so many of us in the audience who watched Katelyn, because we can relate. And so, but yeah, I've been in that position, and it's crazy because the guy who is inappropriate towards you actually has the nerve to get mad at you when you tell people. Like, they blame you. They blame you when you tell somebody. So like when I told my mom and then my older sister, I was being blamed. And my older sister reacted the same way that Katelyn's mom did, where it's like you're the problem for being the messenger and the victim. You're somehow like treated worse than the perpetrator. It's really like a backwards, like redneck sort of mentality, in my opinion. I've seen it in my husband's family. I'm not going to get too specific, but someone very, very, very close to my husband had a reputation for touching younger girls inappropriately, and because he was the male in that whole redneck country dynamic, everybody was hush-hush about it. It's actually very common down south. And those of you who live down south in that sort of podunk area know what I'm talking about. But, so anyway, I feel like he blamed Katelyn, because if you look at the time frame, that was the first time in years that he was made to leave. I feel like he blamed Katelyn, and I feel like he was communicating to her through Messenger on Facebook, because that's primarily how she would talk to people, was on that or the Live Me app. And so, and then I feel like that's why he was promptly on her Facebook after he found out what she did to herself. Because I think he was telling her to go hang herself and stuff, and blaming her for the fact that her mom told him to stay away. And, you know, he probably said something like, if you didn't keep your stupid mouth shut, you stupid worthless whore, you ruin everything, why don't you go hang yourself? He probably said something like that. He said stuff like that to her in the past, even before she caused him to leave. So why wouldn't he do it then? That's what I think. So, sorry, my shoe is actually getting stuck in the ice, and it was like I don't know if you can tell, but my feet are pretty deep. And it even feels painful to like laugh. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous because I'm not related to her in any way or anything, but it feels painful when I'm laughing or singing or anything I enjoy doing. It feels painful because of everything. But yeah, I wanted to make this video just to like pinpoint how I think it's so obvious that he got on her account after all that happened to delete messages. I think it is uncanny. Why else would he do that? Why else would he get on her account? There's no other reason. He had his own account on Facebook. Why would he get on hers? He wasn't at her house. I mean, really, I think when he was there, he probably demanded that she give him the password in the past, so he had her password, and that was probably how he was able to get on there. Hopefully, forensic investigators in Polk County are able to access those. I've heard that they could, so I think that will really, I think that's why everything's been on the down low. And Tammy Michelle Rogers, the reason her page is still up is not because she loves attention like some of you are saying. It's because investigators have seized their accounts. Like, they don't even have access to them right now because that's part of the investigation. Like, they don't want them to go in and tamper anything. Nope, who would want that kind of attention? That doesn't even make any logical sense. Sorry, I keep having to press pause because of my malfunctions in this snow. But I don't know if y'all seen that video by Katelyn. It's her song that she wrote called Fake Smile or something like that. And she also calls it I Fall. And she's 12. She was so talented. Like, these lyrics that she wrote and how she came up with like a chorus and then like the verse and all this and her singing. And I mean, if y'all listen to it, I really want to pull the MP3 from that video and add some echo to the chorus because she sounds like an angel, and put it out there because it's from the heart. I mean, these lyrics, it's not like she's just like thinking of lyrics people would like. I mean, the lyrics are from the heart. They're catchy, they rhyme, they're spot on with her situation and how she felt. Like, that girl was just so full of talent. I think that's what so many of us are so angered by too, was it was like taking this, you know, that expression, now I know why the caged bird sings. That's what I feel like. She was like this caged bird who was just always trying to sing and be free from that cage. But unlike even a bird cage, she was in like a torture chamber. But yeah, I wanted to speak out about this again because there's just so much to this story that deals with that stepdad. Yeah, the mother was a pillhead, and I'm not at all justifying that. I actually have a very personal hatred for mothers like that. But like, I mean, who couldn't? But like, I do feel like she's the mother is a product of this like redneck dynamic where the man is put on this pedestal and you have to be hush hush about all this. I've seen it firsthand with my in-laws. I was like, what kind of craziness is this? We're supposed to keep quiet when he's allegedly touching these little girls? Well, yeah, but then women in the family, if women just like have an attitude, oh, everybody goes crazy, but like the men can get away with anything. That's common. It's just how it's disgusting. And so, yeah, just, if you have any questions or anything else you want me to talk about or dig into, I also found pictures. If you go to the Floyd County, Georgia, if you go to their district court website and you type in Matthew Reed Davis, you will see her biological dad. He's been arrested for various charges, but the ones he has his mugshots for are for not paying child support for Katelyn. And she, in my opinion, got his big, expressive eyes, and it's just it's such a shame. Like, she deserved so much more than what she was put into. And then a lot of people say that like this all happened for a reason and blah 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 blah, and then they get spiritual when they talk about it, and religious, but reason or not, she did not deserve those years of suffering. That was years of suffering. No. It would just be better if she had just had a good life. That would have just been better. Like, why use her as a puppet for an example? No. It's just, no. I'm sorry. I'm not religious. I'm not superstitious. That kind of talk, actually, when it comes to Katelyn, bothers me. She did believe in a higher power. She did believe in a God. A lot of it had to do with her upbringing, but I don't even think that she would agree that should have happened. But she has touched many of us. That isn't a part in the religious realm that I will agree with, that she has touched many of us. And hopefully when y'all are going around calling people attention whores and whatnot, when people are suffering and they're feeling emotional and impulsive, you know, maybe at that moment, maybe they are just wanting attention, and so what? You can ignore it, or you can make them feel better. But to mock them and ridicule them, don't you be spreading your anti-bully memes on Facebook, because it's so easy to click share and be like, no more bullying. But then when you're faced with somebody who truly is in a position where they are acting like they are crying out for attention, whether they're showing their butt or whatever, or in Katelyn's case, just speaking dramatically, then, you know, that's when you can walk the talk and really show if you're anti-bully. Because so many of you I see spreading these memes, but when it comes down to it, like when I was Katelyn's age, even when I was like 18, I was still feeling very suicidal. And I would make videos like she did, even at 18. And I wanted to die because there were certain, and it was crazy because these girls who would try to act like, oh, I'm an activist, I'm a social justice warrior type person. they treated me like doo-doo. Like, whatever. So this is just, and their kids need to know that there is help out there. They need to know. I didn't know. Katelyn didn't know. And I think the thing that she's proved, I think the way that she's helping people the most, especially young girls, and just people, young people in general, not just young girls, is that my kid's teacher lives next door. If she's looking at me, she probably thinks I'm cuckoo, or conceited, because it probably looks like I'm taking selfies. But I think the thing that she's taught people the most is that even if you feel like you're in this tiny little bubble and no one else can see you, no one else can see your talents or your gifts or just your personality, like, even if you feel non-existent and you're having to resort to these like live me things with these strangers, that even if that's how you feel, there's so much more to you. You're part of something so much larger, even if you don't see it yet. And that's what this has mostly shown to me, other than like the main thing, which is abuse needs to end in these homes. Telling kids I'm gonna whip your ass and making them feel worthless does more than you realize. You need to listen to your kids. If your kids are expressing that they're hurt or upset or hate themselves, you need to listen and validate that. So that's the number one thing that this case, I hope, says to people. But then the next thing is, if you're ever feeling non-existent and worthless and alone, just realize that if you just are patient and you wait till you reach more people or meet better people. I just heard someone yelling at their dog to come back. So that was freaky. Someone was yelling at their dog to come back, and I heard a chain, and I don't want to be bitten. Okay. Anyway, so, but yeah, I feel like if you're ever feeling like you are not being heard and like you just have no connection, no real life connection, because I can honestly say right now in my life, other than being a mom, I feel like I have no real life connection to anybody. People always say, well, call up somebody, blah, blah, blah. Well, who? I mean, I don't feel like they would really care. And so, but in the grand scheme of things, Katelyn showed us that even if in our bubble, in our circle, there's no one we feel like cares, that there's always still people out there we just haven't met yet who would care. And I can say that suicide hotline that everybody talks about, many of them need to practice empathy. They need to practice empathy, because when you're talking to those people, you can tell that many of them are just doing it because it's their job. Like I know they go through a really, really short amount of training to do the suicide network hotline thing, but they need to like go through more training, like when it comes to expressing empathy, because you can just hear it in their voice that many of them act like you're a burden and that you're annoying them, and like, well, why do you feel this way? Well, maybe you just shouldn't think like that. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, if anything, it made me feel worse, honestly. So yeah, but yeah, in the grand scheme of things, if you're ever feeling like you have no real life connections, you're not being heard, even if you have people in your everyday life, but you just don't feel like they truly care about who you are, you don't feel truly accepted as a person, you feel like you're just being tolerated rather than liked, think of Katelyn. Think of how that's how she was living, but look at the world who appreciated her. And it's not just because she's gone, it's because you can't force everyone to like you in your inner circle, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people out there who would like you. Katelyn has proven that. We all want to feel accepted. We all want to feel liked, and we all want attention. We're all attention seekers. That's what existence is about, is receiving and giving attention. Who cares? Anybody, I've noticed that the people who call people out for attention seeking are like the #1 ones who deep down want attention. It's pure projection. They're not fooling anyone. So, yeah, Katelyn, I just cannot get her out of my head. So I don't really know how to end this, but yeah, thanks for watching.